Remember that time your period felt less like a period and more like a natural disaster? It's a feeling many of us have experienced at some point in our lives. The sudden onset, the unexpected intensity, and the sheer volume can be overwhelming. It's like your body has decided to unleash a storm without any warning, leaving you to navigate the aftermath. Mine was in high school. High school, a time already fraught with challenges, from academic pressures to social dynamics, and then add the unpredictability of a menstrual cycle. It was a period of my life where I was still trying to understand my body and its signals. The lack of comprehensive education on menstrual health didn't help either. Picture this. I'm at a swim meet about to compete when it hits. The adrenaline of the competition, the excitement of the event, all came crashing down as I felt that familiar yet dreaded sensation. It wasn't just a slight discomfort, it was a full-blown crisis. The timing couldn't have been worse. Not a gentle flow, but a gushing river. Imagine standing at the edge of a riverbank, watching the water rush past with unstoppable force. That's what it felt like. It was as if my body had turned against me, choosing the most inconvenient moment to remind me of its power. I'm talking maxi pad overflowing in minutes kind of situation. No matter how prepared you think you are, nothing can quite prepare you for that level of intensity. It's a helpless feeling, knowing that your best efforts to manage the situation are falling short. Talk about a confidence killer. In a setting where confidence is key, feeling like you're losing control of your own body can be devastating. The fear of others noticing, the worry about leaks, and the embarrassment of the situation can be paralyzing. I remember feeling mortified, convinced everyone knew my secret shame. The whispers, the glances, the paranoia that everyone is aware of your predicament. It's a lonely feeling, thinking you're the only one going through this, when in reality, many others have similar experiences. Looking back, I realize how little I knew about my own body. The lack of education and open conversation about menstrual health left me in the dark. Understanding the mechanics of my cycle, the reasons behind heavy flows, and the signs of potential issues would have made a world of difference. Periods, even the messy ones, are normal. They're a natural part of life, experienced by women across the globe. The variations in flow, duration, and symptoms are vast, and what's normal for one person might be different for another. It's important to recognize this diversity and not feel isolated by our experiences. But what I experienced wasn't just a heavy flow, it was a sign something was off. Heavy menstrual bleeding, or menorrhagia, can be a symptom of underlying health issues. It's crucial to pay attention to these signs and seek medical advice when something feels abnormal. That's the thing about periods, they're like your body's own personal smoke signal. They can indicate when everything is functioning as it should, and they can also signal when something is amiss. It's our body's way of communicating with us, urging us to pay attention. A little smoke, okay, maybe everything's fine. Minor irregularities can be normal, especially during times of stress or hormonal changes. But it's important to know what's within the range of normal and what might require further investigation. A lot of smoke? Time to investigate. Persistent heavy bleeding, severe pain, or other unusual symptoms shouldn't be ignored. Consulting a healthcare professional can help identify the cause and provide appropriate treatment. Just like my experience, abnormal menstrual bleeding can be scary and confusing. But knowledge is power. Educating ourselves about menstrual health, understanding the signs of potential issues, and knowing when to seek help can empower us to take control of our health. Understanding what's normal and what's not can save you a whole lot of worry and help you get the treatment you need. It's about breaking the stigma, opening up conversations, and ensuring that everyone has access to the information and care they need. By doing so, we can turn what feels like a monsoon into a manageable part of life and support each other through the journey. Let's talk periods, shall we? First things first, every woman's flow is unique. Some of us have light periods, others have heavier ones. Some bleed for 2 days, others for 7. All of this is perfectly normal. So how do you know if your flow is abnormal? Think of it like this. A normal period is like a predictable house guest. They arrive roughly the same time each month, stay for a few days, and then leave without too much drama. Abnormal bleeding, on the other hand, is like that unpredictable friend who crashes on your couch for weeks, eats all your food, and leaves a mess behind. It's unpredictable, disruptive, and frankly, a bit of a pain. We're talking bleeding that's heavier than usual, lasts longer than a week, or pops up at unexpected times. Think spotting between periods, after sex, or even after menopause. Basically, any bleeding that feels out of whack for you could be a sign of something that needs checking out. So, what causes abnormal bleeding? Well, it's a bit of a mixed bag, really. Hormonal imbalances are often the culprit. Think of your hormones like a delicate dance. When they're in sync, your cycle runs smoothly. But when they're out of whack, things can get messy. Then there are structural issues like fibroids, polyps, or endometriosis. These are all fancy medical terms for growths in your uterus that can mess with your flow. Other factors like stress, extreme weight loss or gain, certain medications, and even thyroid problems can also play a role. It's important to remember that abnormal bleeding isn't always a sign of something serious. Sometimes it's just your body being a bit wonky. But it's always better to err on the side of caution and get checked out by your doctor. Knowing the signs of abnormal bleeding is like having a secret weapon in your back pocket. It empowers you to take control of your health and seek help when you need it. So, what should you be on the lookout for? First up, heavy bleeding. We're not talking needing to change your pad or tampon every few hours. We're talking soaking through a pad or tampon in an hour or less, or passing large clots, bigger than a quarter. That's a sign something's up. Next, prolonged periods. If your period regularly lasts longer than 7 days, that's another red flag. And don't forget about bleeding between periods, after sex, or after menopause. These are all signs that something's not quite right. Other symptoms to watch out for include severe menstrual cramps, pain during sex, and anemia, feeling tired and weak. Keep in mind, these symptoms can also be caused by other conditions, so it's important to see your doctor for a proper diagnosis. Living with abnormal bleeding can feel like having an uninvited guest who just won't leave. It can disrupt your life in so many ways, from your work to your social life to your mental health. Imagine this. You're about to give a big presentation at work, but you're so worried about bleeding through your clothes that you can barely focus. Or you have to skip out on a fun night out with friends because you're stuck at home with debilitating cramps. Abnormal bleeding can also take a toll on your mental health. It's common to feel anxious, stressed, and even embarrassed about your symptoms. You might find yourself withdrawing from social situations or avoiding intimacy because you're worried about having an accident. The good news is that it doesn't have to be this way. There are ways to manage your symptoms and get your life back on track. Remember, you don't have to suffer in silence. If you're experiencing abnormal bleeding, it's important to talk to your doctor. They can help you figure out what's going on and recommend the best course of treatment for you. So, when is it time to pick up the phone? If you're soaking through a pad or tampon every hour or two, passing large clots, or experiencing bleeding that lasts longer than 7 days, it's time to make an appointment. The same goes for bleeding between periods, after sex, or after menopause. These are all signs that something's not right and need to be checked out. Don't be afraid to advocate for yourself and ask for help. While you're waiting for your doctor's appointment, there are a few things you can do to manage heavy bleeding at home. First up, stay hydrated. Drinking plenty of water can help prevent dizziness and fatigue, which are common side effects of heavy bleeding. Next, eat iron-rich foods. Heavy bleeding can lead to iron deficiency anemia, which can make you feel tired and weak. Eating foods like red meat, spinach, and beans can help replenish your iron stores. Over-the-counter pain relievers like ibuprofen or naproxen can help reduce cramps and pain. And don't forget about heat therapy. Applying a heating pad or hot water bottle to your abdomen can work wonders for cramps. The good news is that there are plenty of treatment options available for abnormal bleeding. The best treatment for you will depend on the underlying cause of your symptoms, so it's important to work with your doctor to find a solution that's right for you. Hormonal medications like birth control pills or hormonal IUDs can help regulate your cycle and reduce heavy bleeding. In some cases, your doctor may recommend surgery to remove fibroids, polyps, or endometrial tissue. Lifestyle changes like stress management, maintaining a healthy weight, and regular exercise can also make a big difference. Remember, you are not alone in this journey. One of the most important things you can do is advocate for your own health. Don't be afraid to speak up, ask questions, and seek second opinions until you feel heard and understood. Keep a menstrual diary to track your cycle, flow, and any symptoms you experience. This can be incredibly helpful for your doctor when trying to diagnose the cause of your abnormal bleeding. Remember, your period is like your body's own personal health report. Paying attention to your flow can help you identify potential problems early on. Finally, remember that you are not alone. Abnormal bleeding is more common than you think. Talking to other women who understand what you're going through can provide invaluable support and comfort. There are countless online forums, support groups, and resources available to help you navigate this journey. Don't be afraid to reach out and connect with others. Together, we can break the silence surrounding abnormal bleeding and empower women to take control of their health.